Mr. Mayor, it's time. Mayor Jose Grijalva.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tempore Dania Acosta. Councilmember Melissa Rodriguez.
Present.
Councilmember Jose Montaño.
Here.
Councilmember Ray Shelton. Councilmember Michael Valdenegro. Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Present.
City Manager Ana Urquijo. City Attorney Dennis Fitzgibbons.
Here.
City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa.
Present. Item number 3, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda. You have anything?
Mr. Mayor, just for the record, Councilmember Ray Shelton is excused and City Manager will be in momentarily. I do not have any public records or public participation request.
Item number 4, discussion decision to call for and conduct an executive session. Item 8, under the authority of ARS 38-431.03, 8.3, 4, and 7, to consider its position, instruct its representatives and obtain legal advice regarding the purchase, sale, or lease of real property known as the Rivera Building located at 357 East 10th Street. And item B, under the authority of ARS 38-431.0381 regarding the city treasurer position. May I have a motion to enter executive session? Yes. Second. Motion by Councilmember Acosta and second by Councilmember Montaño. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño.
Here.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta. Richard
Yes.
Acosta. Mayor Pro Tempore Acosta. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion passes. We enter into executive session at 5:32 p.m.
I was gonna go that way right now.
to adjourn the executive session. Mayor, yes, Ms. Move that we adjourn the executive. Have a second? Okay. Give that to Mr. Montenegro. Motion by Councilmember Montaño, second by Councilmember Montenegro. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Ayes have it. We adjourn executive session at 6:20. Item number 5, update, discussion, and decision. Dennis?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, with regards to the first item in the executive session concerning the Rivera Building, the direction received from council was that the city will proceed with opening the Rivera Building or setting it up so it's open for bid, but the city will continue to do the budgeted repairs on the roof that's in the current budget.
Next item, item B, city treasurer appointment. Mayor's appointment is Alejandro Martinez. Do I have a motion? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. Have a second?
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem, sorry. Dania Costa, second by Councilmember Rodriguez. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Motion passes. Congratulations, Mr. Pedrosa. Would you like to?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just like to read my statement. Dear Mayor Grijalva, I understand that you requested my resignation as city treasurer and would like to transfer the function to the finance department, specifically to the finance director where it originally was placed, and to allow for future growth and mentorship of the position. Please accept this letter as my official resignation as city treasurer, effective 5:30 p.m. on January 8th, 2025. I want to assure you that there's no wrongdoing from me throughout my tenure as city treasurer, and in full transparency, I requested this letter to be read in public. I will remain in my position as deputy city manager, along with the same duties overseeing the finance, public works, and neighborhoods and resources and grants departments, as approved in one of the latest reorganizations. My pay and range are to remain the same. I understand that the city manager will remove the city treasurer component from the job title in my current job description, as well as remove any city treasurer functions as soon as this change becomes effective. I look forward to continue with the many facets of the Port of Entry project and the various exciting projects ahead for Douglas. I am thankful for the opportunity I had to serve the council and the city of Douglas in this role for the last 12 years. Thank you.
Mr. Pedrosa, and I want to reiterate, there was no wrongdoing, and I appreciate your statement. Thank you. Item number 6, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
About the name. Anyone else? Item number 6, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn the special meeting? Yes. Pro Tem Barbosa. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Barbosa, second by Councilmember Rodriguez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? We adjourn the special meeting at 6:25 p.m. We'll move on to the regular meeting. That's right. Sorry. Call this meeting to order. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and then the invocation?
The flag, of the United States of America. Stands one nation.
Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father and Creator, we thank you for this meeting tonight. We pray for all of us that are making decisions for our beautiful city, that we look to you for guidance, that we look to you for wisdom in our decisions. We're very thankful for our constituents that are here, Father, and that are watching us online. We pray, Father, that we do what's best for them in our community, that we work together to grow our community. And we pray, Father, that as long as we stay in your will, that our community will be blessed. And we thank you for all that you've done for us, especially this cold weather that we're enjoying right now. We thank you for all that you've done for us again, Father. In Jesus Christ's perfect name we pray. Amen. I'd like to, the reason I did the invocation of Pastor Pete Cordova was supposed to be here, but he didn't make it. I know his mother's ill, so we all pray that he's doing better, and our thoughts and prayers are with him in this family. Roll call, please. Here.
Tania Acosta. Councilmember Melissa Rodriguez.
Present.
Councilmember Jose Montaño.
Here.
Councilmember Ray Shelton. Councilmember Michael Valdenegro.
President.
Councilmember Richard Acosta. City Manager Ana Ortigo.
Present.
Present.
City Treasurer Alejandro Martinez.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, for the record, Councilmember Ray Shelton is excused.
Thank you. Item number 5, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda. Mrs. Andrade, do we have anyone? Thank you. Item number 6, discussion decision on approval of consent agenda items. Item A, expenditures for the month of December 2024 totaling $4,590,256.54. Item B, meeting minutes for December 4th and December 11th, 2024. Item C, Douglas Airport Authority appointment of Mitch Lindeman. Item D, Industrial Development Authority appointment of David Studer. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items as listed?
Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember.
The mayor and council approve consent agenda items as presented.
Do I have a second? Motion by Councilmember Richard Acosta, second by Councilmember Valdenegro. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilmember Montaño.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro. Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Acosta. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion passes. Item number 7, Mayor's Committee designations. Per city charter, Article 5, Section 3 mentions that it does not require the consent of the council to appoint himself, a member of the council, or the city manager to a board, commission, or committee of the city. Therefore, the following will be the designations. A, Douglas Airport Authority appointment of Richard Acosta. B, Douglas Public Facility Municipal Property Corporation appointment, Dania Acosta. Oh, those were it. So congratulations. Pictures now or later?
It will be up to you, Mr. Mayor.
We'll do them now because we started. So, Mr. Lindeman.
Mayor, would you like to take a picture with the city treasurer?
No.
Alex. Yes.
Item 8, discussion decision on approvals. 8A, resolution number 25-1648, resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, approving the acceptance of a 32,500 grant from the Legacy Foundation of Southeast Arizona to fund an architectural assessment of the call center building. Ms. Teresa Villalobos.
It's not on.
Mayor, members of the council. The city of Douglas has been awarded a $32,500 grant from the Legacy Foundation of Southeast Arizona to fund an architectural assessment of the call center building located at 1708 East 10th Street. This study will evaluate the feasibility of converting the structure, excuse me, into a community center to serve residents with amenities such as a Boys and Girls Club, a Cox Innovation Center, and recreational spaces. Reusing this existing building aligns with the city's goals of sustainability and resource efficiency while advancing efforts to provide a dedicated community space. Acceptance of this grant will support the city's vision of enhancing quality of life for residents and promoting adaptive reuse of local infrastructure. Staff recommends approval. I'd like to take any questions if there are.
Thank you, Ms. Villalobos. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 25-1648? Yes, Mr. Baldanegro.
Move that the mayor and council approve resolution 24.
Do I have a second?
Okay.
Second by Mayor Pro Tem Acosta. A motion by Mr. Baldanegro. Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Mufani.
I just want to thank this, Villalobos for her work on all the benefits we're working on and getting. I think this is long overdue, the start of this multi-use community center. I think it'll be great for Douglas, Boys and Girls Club, other big kids to hang out. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Baldanegro.
do we have a timeline for this, community center, to plans and remodel of it? Start date?
I can't speak to the timeline of the completion. We first need to see if it's feasible to converting the space, and what the resources needed to convert that space would be.
Else?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Rodriguez.
so I also believe this is, and I appreciate your work on receiving this opportunities for more grants to further expand community services around our city, so I am hopeful for bigger and better things.
Thank you. Anyone else? And it's also on the perfect side of town where there's a bunch of residential. You have somewhat close to the schools. Back when we were in school, we had somewhere to go. And now it's, at least we're looking to give our youth a brighter future by keeping them off the streets and having activities for them. So thank you. You're a huge part of this process. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just for the record, that will be resolution 25-1648. Councilmember Rodriguez? Yes. Councilmember Montaño?
Yeah.
Councilmember Valdenegro?
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Acosta? Mr. Mayor?
Yes, motion passes. Item B, resolution number 25-1649, A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a revised intergovernmental agreement between the city of Douglas and Cochise County for providing certified water operator services at the groundwater well at the Bisbee Douglas International Airport in Cochise County, Arizona. Mr. Pedrosa?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Cochise County and the city of Douglas have an existing IGA where the city of Douglas provides a certified water operator at the Bisbee Douglas International Airport. The agreement expires January 1st of 2025 and needs to be updated to reflect its current cost. As mentioned, the city of Douglas provides the water services, certified water operator services to BDI where the state prison is located. The city water technicians test and monitor the water quality, also providing a certified water operator license over the BDI system as required by the ADQ. Part of the agreement also requires that the certified operator file the consumer confidence report that is on an annual basis as required by ADQ as well. As the IGA has expired and the new IGA requires an update to the billing amount, which would increase from $1,850 per month to $2,190 per month. And the hourly rate used just in case if there's additional work to be done from $40 an hour to $47 an hour. There's also an automatic 2.5% increase after year one reflected there. We also did some minor edits and clarifying language. The Cochise County Board of Supervisors has actually already approved the agreement on their side. And the effective date again will be retroactive to January 1st, 2025. And staff recommends the approval of this 2-year IGA agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 25-1649?
Mayor,
Councilmember Rodriguez.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 25-16949.
Do I have a second? Motion by Councilmember Rodriguez, second by Councilmember Valdenegro. Roll call, please. Or any discussion, sorry. No discussion. Thank you again, Mr. Pedrosa. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Acosta. Yes. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion passes. Item number C, resolution number 25-1650, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting the city of Douglas 2025 Public Safety Personnel Retirement Pension Funding Policy. Mr. Martinez?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. ARS 38-863.01 requires each governing body with Public Safety Personnel Retirement System, also known as PSPRS, plans to annually adopt a pension funding policy and formally accept the employer's share of the assets and liabilities under the system based on the system's actuarial valuation report. The report for 2024 indicates a funded ratio of 100.1 for the police and 99.6 for fire, resulting in a combined unfunded accrued liability of $59,160. This is a favorable position. This favorable position was achieved through the city's use of $1,080,942 from its PSPRS contingency reserve that we contributed last year, and favorable investment returns. At this time, staff does not recommend a contribution for this fiscal year from the contingency fund as we are near or slightly above 100% funded. This strategic decision reflects the city's dedication to maintaining the financial stability of its pension plans and ensuring the long-term sustainability of benefits for its employees.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 25-1650? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Acosta. Do I have a second? Motion by Councilmember Acosta, second by Councilmember Montaño. Any discussion? Thank you to our staff. Like Mr. Martinez said, we passed a funding policy. And it's getting us, in good fiscal, in a good fiscal standing. There's no other discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Acosta. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion passes. Resolution, item number D, resolution number 25-1651, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city of Douglas to accept grant funding and enter into a sub-grantee agreement with the state of Arizona Department of Homeland Security for a reimbursable grant fund allocation in the amount of $228,598 for overtime and mileage costs under Operation Stone Garden fiscal year 2021 reallocation grant program. Chief Bullen?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. The Arizona Department of Homeland Security selected the department to receive $228,598 in funding under their federal fiscal year 2021 Operation Stone Garden Award Reallocation Grant Program. This is funding that was left over from that period and has been reallocated to our agency, among others. The performance period for this grant runs from January 1, 2025 through July 31st, 2025. The department has participated in Operation Stone Garden since its inception, and to date, all expenditures have been reimbursed in full. And again, this funding will cover overtime, employee-related expenses, and mileage reimbursement, and staff is requesting approval.
Thank you, Chief. May I have a motion to approve resolution number 25-1651?
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 25-165.
Do you have a second? Motion by Councilmember Richard Acosta, second by Councilmember Michael Valdenegro. Any discussion? Yes, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Acosta. I would say that thanks is owed to the staff in their entirety. A number of our staff members both write the grant, attend meetings as the allocation decisions are being made, and then other staff administer the grant, taking care of reimbursement reports and things of that nature. And then the officers themselves are out there working it along with our communication staff. So it's definitely a full effort, yes.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Anyone else? There's no other discussion. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Acosta. Yes. Mr. Mayor,
Yes, the motion passes. Item E, second reading of ordinance number 24-1205, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona. One, approving the sale, execution, and delivery of pledged revenue obligations series 2025, evidencing all the interest of the owner thereof in a purchase agreement. Two, approving the form authorizing the execution and delivery of necessary agreements, instruments, and documents related to the sale, execution, and delivery of such obligations. Three, adopting post-issuance tax compliance procedures in connection with issuance of obligations of the city. Four, delegating authority to the mayor, city manager, the deputy city manager, and the finance director to determine certain matters and terms with respect to the foregoing. And five, authorizing the taking of all other actions necessary to the consummation of the transactions contemplated by this ordinance, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Martinez?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, there have been, from the first reading, which happened in December, there's been two changes to the resolution. To the ordinance. One is the not to exceed amount originally was 4 million. We're changing that to 4.5 million. And also the term is not to exceed 2045, which is 20 years instead of 15. And the reasons behind that are related to, as we progress and as we continue to look into this purchase and talk to the providers and all the necessary equipment to run this asphalt plant, we've run into other costs that were not considered back in December. So at this point, we're calculating, because this is an ongoing situation. We're right about 4.3 million at this point. The asphalt plant itself costing $3.3 million instead of the 2.9 that we calculated back in December. There's also equipment that has been, is being considered to run this plant, a zipper. Again, if you have technical questions, I might not be the best person to ask, but there's a zipper and a loader that we're buying. The zipper alone is 216,270. The loader is 125,375. There are costs associated with the issuance of these bonds as well, and then freight and sales tax. So those are some of the things that have come up. Now, keep in mind that our goal, and we will not go over our allocation of 462,000, which is our debt capacity, which was the previous call center loan debt capacity. So this, adding the 4.5 million and adding an additional 5 years to the not to exceed terms provides us with flexibility to find that sweet spot. So we can buy all the necessary equipment, buy the asphalt plant, install it, have it delivered, and as well as, but not exceeding the $462,000 that we have allocated in fiscal year 2025 and on. So that is the reason behind that. It does not mean we're going to go 20 years. It just provides us with the flexibility, because once we have the second reading, we cannot go back and change anything at that point. So that is the reason behind those changes. As terms are finalized, it will come to mayor and council again for approval. So
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. May I have a motion to approve the second reading of ordinance number 24-1205 with modifications as presented? Yes, Councilmember Valdenegro.
But I move that the mayor and council approve the resolution. Ordinance number 25-1205.
Do I have a second?
Second. 2-4.
The ordinance is 2-4 because it's from last year.
1205 and under title.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Valdenegro, second by Councilmember Rodriguez. Any discussion? Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Valdenegro?
I just have a question. What's on the understanding that the fiscal budget for public works, after different voter, we use that as part of the process of for this, I know not to be asked.
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Valdenegro, this particular zipper and loader are exclusively for the use of, and operation of the asphalt plant, and we're not part of any budget items for fiscal year 25.
Mr. Escalante, at the time, at the finance meeting, we wanted the asphalt zipper, and we saw a demonstration with Mims. So I just thought, bidding process.
Mayor,
Mr.
yes. Yes. And I was going to direct Mayor, Councilmember Valdenegro to clarify between either Mr. Martinez or Mr. Pedrosa. I do recall the conversations during the budget process, but the final capital outlay or capital list transferred these into the financing of the overall project. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Urquijo. And yeah, just to add, these pieces of equipment are not contingent upon the operation of the asphalt plant. They are complementary pieces of equipment that'll help us paving roads and prepping roads.
Under the understanding that we had to be paid before we could be that effect. Is that the understanding of that, Mr. McLean?
I don't remember that conversation, but, what I suggest is that we just make sure that we're not double purchasing that, and that it is only that.
Maybe Mr. Pedrosa take a step because I'm gonna ask. So there was $1 million difference. Was that inflation or did we just miscalculate?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, as we spec'd out the asphalt plant, we realized we needed a different type of silo than originally scoped out. It was better for us. It was the way that our streets guys kind of went through the process and looked at the different types of silos for the asphalt plant, and that was a little bit more pricey than what we originally were calculating. The freight was not included in the original quote, and then they put it forward after we started, going through the entire process and making sure we cover all the costs. Taxes were not included. We got to make sure that those taxes are also part of it. So we're not tax exempt. We still pay those taxes.
As far as personnel go, do we have to hire more experienced personnel in this matter, or can our personnel handle this operation?
Mr. Mayor, part of also included in this bond is training. We will need training for the operation of this asphalt plant. We will need certifications through ADEQ, and we plan to send our folks to training. I believe the training is in Tennessee. That's the only place where they have it, unfortunately, and it's a little bit more expensive. We want to send, I believe our supervisor wanted to send 4 or 5 of our guys that will be rotating and want to get familiarized with the operation. That's how they operate our current plant, and they kind of know but this will be new technology. Obviously, we want to be good at it and get all the information.
Mr. Mayor, and training was not part of the original quote as well, so we have to add that component as well.
Yes, Councilmember Montaño.
Mr. Pedrosa, do you foresee any other unforeseen additional costs? And how do we look back if we can't go back and make modifications?
Yeah, good question. Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Montaño, we did put ourselves a little bit of a buffer there because the unforeseen cost could be at the site preparation. We might need to upgrade electrical, upgrade gas lines that feed into the plant and the site prep. So we set ourselves some monies for that. Again, if we find something crazy that we might go a little bit over, but we did give ourselves a little bit of a buffer there for unexpected expenses.
Any other questions? You know what? Seeing that this was basically, we're using the payment for the ACT building fund this. So I'm gonna sort of connect this one with the grant we just got. If we're gonna use this for basically with the ACT building, instead of putting it into the community center, so if this is new debt, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the other subject, but are we prepared to fund like a community center if needed, if this debt's going to the asphalt plant?
Mayor, council members, as we formulate the budget, I think we need to look at that. The idea with this debt was we have a debt with the call center of 462,000. We formulate our budget, we balanced ourselves. We trade it off. Let's pay this one off with our cash reserves. Let's put this on for the asphalt plant. So our budget did not change. It just remained flat. If we're talking about adding either another form of debt for the community center, we'd have to look at it through the budget and through the revenues and expenses and see where we can find some capacity. There, we can also look at potentially, depending on costs, is using other form of reserves or things like that. It just depends on the cost and what we can fit into our existing budget capacity.
Mayor, if I may. I think also part of what you asked is for call center moving forward. So there's variations there, right? We don't know what we approved tonight were architectural renderings for some new proposed opportunities as a community center. But then comes the work of how do we pay for that? So kudos again to Ms. Villalobos for always being out there beating the bushes for more opportunities. We've started talking to all of our partners on these potential projects coming up so that we can line ourselves up to gain more grant funding. But we just don't have those numbers yet. So my anticipation as we walk into the new budget process is that we position all of those future assumptions into newer budgets. But currently, this is coming to you clearly as just a wash with our budget capacity as it currently stands. The other piece that's missing with the call center is that there's no lease revenue coming in from that call center, but we no longer have that debt either. So we were able to take care of that in the last cycle. So just some more things to clarify there. We have to continue to be resourceful to come up with new ways to move forward with not only the construction, but then operation structures beyond that to manage that.
Thank you. Any? I'm gonna sort of break away from protocol. I used to do this years back, but it just has to do with debt and, I'm gonna ask anybody from the audience, do they want to come up and say a few words? You can sign the speaker form afterwards. Discussion, roll call, please.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Yes.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Acosta. Yes. Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion passes. Item number 9, presentation, discussion, direction. Item 9A, alley cleanup, current state and alternatives. Mr. Pedrosa? Or Mrs. Gonzalez? Thanks.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. So at the last meeting, a request was made to look at our code and potentially make code amendments to make the city responsible for cleaning alleys. And so I'm just going to go through a recap. There was a presentation done on April 22nd, 2022. The presentation was on challenges and current state of alley cleanups in the city. There were some solutions presented and input was received from mayor and council. So our municipal code regarding right-of-way cleanups, including alleys, currently reads 8.32.140. public rights of way, owner of adjacent property to maintain. I'm not gonna read the entire code. It's printed here on the slide. So at the last presentation, the questions were asked, what are the fines for not cleaning the right of way and alley? The fines start at $25, and for illegal dumping, the fines start at $50 and can go all the way up to $2,500. So the solutions presented at that meeting were more education, marketing, and enforcement. Our current state is we have ongoing efforts with enforcement and education. We have marketed an informational video to the public regarding the homeowner's responsibility to maintain the public rights of way, including their alleys. We also, somebody also recommended a chipper program. So the current state is we did acquire a chipper with funding assistance from Cochise County. We set up the chipping yard next to the transfer station, and an event was held in January of last year for free chipping. The challenge at that location is that we need to secure the entrance access to the yard. The entrance currently cuts through a parcel owned by Freeport. And so we would need to acquire the property from Freeport or potentially move the entrance to the yard. Another solution presented was the collection of mattresses and sofas. Current state is mattresses and sofas are charged by weight, $64 a ton. So the approximate charge for a mattress is $7. We continue to use code enforcement and cleanup when it's wildcat dumping. Another solution presented in April of 2022 was brush and bulky pickups. Current state is the city is currently doing this. On Wednesdays, we don't have a scheduled sanitation route, so people can call for special pickups. They are charged a $15 fee on their water bill, plus any transfer station fees. Associated costs for doing something like this at no cost to citizens will be done in a sanitation rate study for the citywide program. So council recommended solutions were to send notices and potentially establish a fee for persons who need assistance. An elderly or widower program, find a way to identify those that need help. Buying a mower and spraying the alleys, keep workers from picking up heavy items to prevent injury. Pick up the mattresses that are dumped in the alleyways or right-of-ways. Expand DOC crews to help with the alley cleanups. Use the old garbage trucks to pick up brush and bulky items. Or establish a youth program to clean, and this is to be paid by the city, and we would need to check for liability on that. And the current state on all of those recommended solutions that came out of the April 22 meeting, we are currently sending notices on a regular basis. We have a high success rate for compliance. 320 violation notices have been sent from January 1 of 2023 to December 31 of 2024. Only 9 of those resulted in citations for non-compliance, and those 9 citations are for 6 properties. So a few of those properties got multiple citations. On the elderly widower program, find a way to identify those that need help. We have not established a program yet. We are looking at potentially implementing a pilot program. We have similar assistance for sanitation pickups for elderly or disabled who cannot pull their trash bins out to the curb. And so we might kind of use the same system to identify people who might need assistance for this program. And then currently, we are working with homeowners that have wildcat dumping. When the city can't determine a responsible party, we are picking up those wildcat dumped items. On the buying a mower and spraying for alleys, the city has hired a blight crew of 3. And they have been helping with cleaning the right-of-ways and the alleys using the mower, weed eater, and hand tools. From April through December of 2024, which is when they were hired in April, they cleaned 83 alleys. That amounts to about 22% of the city's alleys, and they picked up 7 mattresses that were determined to be wildcat dumping. And the blight crew does currently share a mower with the airport to help with those efforts. On keeping workers from picking up heavy items, we try to use we currently use heavy equipment for special pickups. The blight crew does not have heavy equipment, mostly hand tools. And so when they are picking up mattresses, sofas, and other dumped items, they're typically picking those up manually. On pickup mattresses, we're doing as needed. The blight crew picks up when determined to be wildcat dumping. And this is mostly done when complaints are received or we're notified of mattresses being present. Recommended solution to expand DOC crews to help with alleys. We are currently working or talking to DOC for additional inmates. Challenges there is that the inmate population varies, and we are in competition with other countywide government agencies for those crews. Use the old garbage truck to pick up brush and bulky items. We are not doing a citywide program free of charge. We're doing it on a per request basis at $15 a pickup plus dump fees. In 2023, we had 8 requests for pickups, and in 2024, we had 5. They establishing a youth program to clean to be paid by the city. Liability must be checked on that. We have used volunteer youth groups, Cochise College groups, community cleanup groups, Skills USA from the Douglas High School. All of these have been volunteer, and we are not currently using a payment program. And I will be happy to entertain and do my best to answer any questions that you may have.
Mayor Pro Tem.
So all of the current work that's being addressed,
In sanitation rates or dump fees? The transfer station. Yeah, the special pickups, is that what you're talking about?
So how have we absorbed those expenses?
The city's absorbing them in the general fund. So any dump fees for wildcat dumping or alley cleanups done by our internal crews, we have to pay for those transfer station fees. We have not transferred any of the costs to the constituents, no.
Public with that, this problem, I mean, eventually it's gonna cost us as taxpayers, but it's definitely already costing us, but, with the size of the city and the amount of problems that eventually, not being responsible or being coordinated with, make sure that. What burdensome that
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mayor.
Mr. Rodriguez?
So a couple of questions. So obviously there's been a cost to the city for this initiative of the alley pickup. Now, have we seen a difference in the cleanliness around our community? How are we monitoring that?
With the violation notices that we're sending, we are close to 100% compliance. Like I said, out of the 320 notices mailed in the 2 calendar years, only 9 citations were issued. So the violation notices have been very effective. And because people know that our enforcement officers are out there, they are being more proactive, I guess, in cleaning up their right-of-ways. We do get some pushback, and there's obviously those people that just simply won't do it. We have repeat offenders on citations, and fees have been imposed by the court. And we are still not getting responses on some of those.
How often is the monitoring happening?
Every day,
Every day?
our enforcement officers are out every day, and they might do different things when they're out because cleaning up of alleys and right-of-ways is one thing that they look at. Other non-compliance, as far as vehicles, junked vehicles, abandoned vehicles. So there's a lot of aspects to their job, and there's a lot of violations in our code that need to be addressed by them. And so it's not their only focus of enforcement.
So in addition to alleys, are there other areas around the community? I know there's a huge issue with weeds around the community. Is that something also that is in addition to the alleys?
Yes, the
So-
homeowners are responsible for right-of-ways adjacent to their properties, or property owners, commercial as well, not just residential. And so, yes, the enforcement, when they're looking at either a residential or a commercial structure, they're looking at the entirety of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There was only the percentage of valley, how is that the light group clean, again, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Montaño. So it was 83 alleys that were cleaned from April through December, which amounts to about 22% of the city's alleys. I think we have approximately 400 alleys. We did try to get costs on what spraying by staff would cost, and maybe the city could assist homeowners by spraying, but the homeowner would still be responsible for clearing the dead weeds and disposing of them. To spray, it would cost about $7,000 a year. Each alley takes about 15 minutes to spray with 2-man crew. And the spray should be done when the weeds are actively growing, when they're green. And it lasts about a year, and then they would need to spot treat. But in order to do that citywide, if we're estimating that we can do approximately 100 alleys in 1 year, it would take 4 years to do the entire city. So we would have to kind of cycle it out and only hit up, like, say, Ward 1 and half of Ward 2 1 year, and then 4 years later, come back to that area.
So, the 20% of the alleys that they clean, are those remaining clean, or are they just?
I think the alleys that they're addressing are the ones that are either eyesores coming into town in preparation for special events or complaints. And so it's not something typically that the city does, again, because it's the homeowner's responsibility, but we will address those that are really bad. Or if we're having a special event, then we try to clean the area around where the event is happening, just so that the city looks in better shape.
I just a comment, I think that with the success that you said that you have with the notices, I think maybe we should kind of push that a little more I think that would probably get us one, to get the actual homeowner, because I don't think that the city right now is prepared to pay for cleanup of every alley in the city, especially if we're gonna take us 4 years to go through the city.
Thank you.
Any other comments? The 4 years is with the current crew that we have, right?
Yes, and utilizing DOC crews. The DOC crews are not always at our disposal, and they get sent to whatever's priority at the time. And so it might move quicker if we get more DOC crews, or if the DOC crews are specifically designated just for alleys.
Percentage wise, what's the difference between us using them? Because they're mostly at the parks, right? DOC. So
We
what-
have several DOC crews, but yes, we do have one assigned to parks. We have another one assigned to public works streets, or two. So, and it just depends. Sometimes their level of staffing those crews is very small. Sometimes they don't come out for a week or two at a time. So it's not something that we can rely on consistently. And we are planning to meet with DOC to try to establish a more consistent schedule and to ask for additional crews.
And if we could direct staff to give us options, as in, what if instead of prioritizing the parks with the DOC, crew, prioritize the alleys, maybe get another employee to help out with the park, just different scenarios to help out.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, just one last comment. The parks crews in the past have helped during the winter months when they are not so busy with park maintenance and spraying the alleys. We have begun talks with Mrs. Jennifer Smith to see if we could try to bring back that program, or to help with the spraying during the winter months. But she did state that a challenge there is that they are leaving other items unaddressed in lieu of doing the spraying for the alleys.
Mayor, if I may, one of the things that we're also discussing those, because I agree, Councilmember Montaño, we have a great metric on our success with our new blight crew. And the intent was to be able to fill in for areas where we know we don't have sufficient capacity with DOC crews. But with that metric, and also trying to train them as well to spray, they require herbicide certifications. We're starting to look at different scenarios where we can build into budgets and programs to get maybe a little more of an impact than the 22% if we do some kind of a blitz program at the month where it matters. So during the springtime, when weeds aren't really technically greener in the springtime, it's in the monsoon season, right? So, but the time to spray is when they're green. And in the wintertime, you don't have many green weeds. So we also have to be real strategic as to how to create that, but we're going to jump in to create some strategies as we budget to see how we can create a blitz program for at least the weeding of the alleys. But I think that the blight crew has given us the opportunity now to see how we can maintain that. My understanding from our crews that already spray is that once you get it to a place where it's mostly sterile because of repeat applications, then you're golden in terms of getting through that 100% over maybe a year and a half, and then we just reapply as needed. So you're building kind of a more sustainable way to keep them clean. It's just a matter of the efforts that we've already talked about is better informing the community to keep those clean. If we do anything more, I agree with Mayor Pro Tem Acosta that it will eventually maybe impact rate fees. The way we currently manage our rate fees is through Cochise County. All of the regions that operate within the transfer station structure meet quarterly to look at rate reviews, and then of course budget annually. different opportunities for communities on needs that they have. That's where I've been trying to insert, we all get through our property tax assessment, mailings, like a free dump day voucher, 1 or 2 a year. I've been trying to insert the opportunity to also expand on our brush and bulky tipping fees for that. And it becomes the same challenge as we have here when we're looking at revenue versus expenses, is whether there's any money left for other communities to do certain things. So I continue working also from that perspective on trying to establish better opportunities for relief on our tipping fees when we do go out. But I think it is important to maintain some of those rules. Not sure what's happening here. Otherwise, we have more than we can handle in picking up debris, because if we know that the city is now responsible for picking up trash, all of our alleys would become, dump sites, and then we're responsible for the tipping fees. So I think our education program is working really, really well. Kudos to the team here, including IT, because they've done what I call commercials, old time terminology, commercials. It's more videos and out on social media to help better inform the community. We can't get everyone there. If we had other modes of getting that information out through our TV stations, those are opportunities. So we are looking at various ways. So just wanted to kind of give an overall perspective to seek out the direction, because this is a presentation direction item. If there's anything in addition to what I've just proposed that we continue seeking, that's what I would request. Thank you.
And you mentioned the county, we have our new supervisor here, so maybe we could partner up with her in that. As the city manager mentioned, there's the direction on this item. Is everybody okay with the direction of directing staff to give us all maybe scenarios where we can try to get all the alleys done, what personnel we can use, how much it would cost to mow or not? Is everybody okay with that direction?
Mr. Mayor, if I may interrupt, I'm sorry. I just wanted to point out that the $7,000 cost that I mentioned earlier is only for the chemicals. It doesn't include the training and certifications. And as part of being trained and receiving your certification to spray, you must pass your background fingerprint by DPS.
Thank you, good to know. A lot of people think you should just go buy something at Walmart and spray it, but there's a lot of red tape when it comes to it. So on the direction, Mrs. Urquijo, bring us just different scenarios, costs, what equipment, what crews we can use.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number B, 9B, amusement tax, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Waiting for the presentation to be up on the screen. I'm going to give it back to some of you. I'm sorry. So at your request, Mr. Mayor, we have prepared a presentation on the amusement tax. And this presentation will define what the tax consists of, the activities that are taxable under in accordance to our tax code, some of the numbers and the revenue that has occurred for the past few years, as well as some staff recommendations towards the end. I do want to clarify that the presentation that was originally uploaded in last week into our municipal code has changed. The presentation was uploaded last week, and then Monday, we got new direction from our city manager as far as a staff recommendation. So I just want to clarify that. This presentation will go through the recommendations from this week. As a refresher, and perhaps as something new for our new council member Rodriguez, this is how our local government is funded. We have 4 main funds or general fund, which funds public safety, public works, parks and rec, admin and other. And the money comes obviously from taxes, sales tax, state shared revenue, user fees. Want to use this one, et cetera, et cetera. So that's our general fund. We have our special revenue funds, which is our HERF, Transit, RICO, capital projects, and these are funds designated by law for a specific use. This is normally funded through our gas tax, grants, RICO seizures, and capital and debt, as we just went through the asphalt plant example. Enterprise funds is our water, sewer, and sanitation. These are business type activities that are self-sustaining through operational revenue. And the funding source for this is our user revenue, which is our fees that we charge to our constituents. And then we have our internal service funds. In our example, we have the self-funded insurance. This is used to charge the cost of individual activities to individual funds. And charges normally come from the contributions made by the city and the employees. But just again, just a refresher. Amusement tax, what is it? It is 3.8% of the gross income from business activities upon every person engaging or continuing in the business of providing amusement that begins in the city or takes place entirely within the city. There are two subcategories. One, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but subcategory number one is normally taxable activities within theaters, movies, operas, shows of any type of nature, exhibitions, concerts, carnivals, circuses, and things of that nature. If we ever open an amusement park, it would fall under that category. And then we have subcategory number two, which includes our health spas, fitness centers, dance studios, or other persons who charge for the use of the premises for sports, athletic, other health-related activities, et cetera, et cetera. We also call it option H, and that will come into play in the next few slides. So within the amusement tax, we have two subcategories. These are some general definitions. TPT is tax levied on businesses for the privilege of conducting business in a specific location. While the businesses is taxed, the cost is typically passed on to the consumer. TPT only applies when goods or services are purchased or used. As amusement taxes is a category within TPT, targets activities and services related to entertainment and leisure, such as movie tickets, concerts, et cetera, et cetera. By taxing non-essential goods and services, the system, our tax system, ensures a fair contribution for those who can afford leisure and entertainment while protecting essential needs from additional taxation. These are our revenue numbers for the past since 2019. And you can see the numbers there. It is a growing number. The amusement tax, it went from in 2019. Again, you got to consider COVID. Most gyms were closed at that time. From 2019 to 2024, it's gone from $6,072 a year, a fiscal year, to the current number in 2024 of $17,095.97. Also keep in mind that in 2019, late 2019, we had that one set increase as well. So got to take that in consideration. If you compare that to our total sales tax collected for the entire year, you have the percentages on that last column of the representation of this sales tax. For example, in 2024, the 17,000 we collected against the 11 million total represents 0.15% of our total revenue. So how does Douglas compare to the rest of the state? Or again, our tax rate is for amusement is 3.8%. We rank number 11 in the state. Some of our neighboring communities, Benson, Bisbee, and Tombstone, are at number 13 at 3.5%. Sierra Vista is number 79 in the state at 1.95%. Also keep in mind all 92 cities and towns tax amusement at the regular rate, except for Colorado City. I did not know there was a Colorado City, which taxes at 7%, which is 5% higher than the regular rate. The state average for amusement is 2.9%. So again, just some numbers for consideration. Pros and cons. If this tax were to be eliminated, there's a possibility of increased tourism. It offers support for local businesses. It provides an opportunity for economic stimulation and enhanced community engagement. This is where community members may be more inclined to participate and or take part of these activities because of the because of the elimination of the amusement tax. Cons is the loss of revenue, unequal impact. You're targeting a specific tax base. Limited impact as well, short-term gains versus long-term sustainability. And it's also, it would be hard to reintroduce if it goes away, and then if growth is attained. So again, these are some of the pros and cons for consideration. Now, this is the slide that has changed. One of our staff recommendation is the temporary elimination of the amusement sales tax with a sunset clause of 3 years. So what this offers is the mayor and council the opportunity to eliminate the tax for a period of 3 years and have it come back or reassess the impact of the elimination in 3 years. Some of the questions you might ask at that time would be, were more amusement activities attract? Did we open more gyms, or did we attract more amusement activities as a result of this elimination for this period? Did it have a significant impact on existing businesses, that they have a chance to maybe grow and expand the current local gyms, or that we have more activities as a result, that we create more jobs as a result of expansion? So those are some of the things that if you take on this recommendation, that you want to ask within 3 years. We also recommend, obviously, and this is always on the plate, continue to monitor state legislature changes and tax policies and its effect on cities. As the state legislature continues to take some of these revenue sources away, then that's also a factor to consider in this 3-year period. This is, although this revenue source has grown over the past 5 years, it really has a minimal impact on the revenue. It is a small number at this point. So that's the recommendation. And also there is another option, which you might, and when I said option H in slide number 3, this is where it comes into play. So subsection number 2 talks about, again, gyms, fitness centers, dance clubs, things of that nature. There is a possibility, and 35 cities have actually taken on this, to eliminate subsection 2. So in other words, you leave amusement tax for carnivals, for theater activities, for concert tickets, for things of that nature, which is subsection number 1, and you temporarily or permanently eliminate option H, which is subsection number 2, which taxes your fitness centers and your gyms. So in other words, you're eliminating subsection number 2 and keeping amusement tax on for other activities. So that's another option as well that we wanted to present to you. Again, the presentation is intended to give you options, to provide information, and then we will seek direction from mayor and council. So at this point, I will entertain any questions you might have.
Another question, Mr. Martinez, when was this tax originally issued?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman Valdenegro, I do not have the exact date on when it was instituted within our, so we follow the model city tax code. All cities in Arizona do. which is pretty much the framework for tax codes for all cities and towns. And there is, such as eliminating option H that I just mentioned, there is some flexibility and there are some things that you cannot change unless it's changed at the state level. As far as when we adopted amusement tax for the city, I don't have that information on me, but I can certainly get back to you. But there are things that you can change and there are some things you cannot, unfortunately.
We do have Carnival does come to our county, but we'll have the, functions group, let's say. So by limiting this tax, we have to reduce what, $17,000?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Valdenegro, so the option H represents an average of about 45% of our total amusement tax revenue. So that leaves another 55% between fairs, or I mean, I'm not fairs, but carnivals and things of that nature. So it's still, again, gyms and fitness centers and things, subsection number 2 represents about 45% in average for the last 5 years of that. So if you take the 17,000 in 2024, about 45% of that came from gyms and fitness centers and those type of activities, and the rest came from the other sources. I'm sorry, repeat your question, please. Mr. Mayor, that I do not know the answer to that question, but I can certainly get back to you as far as what exemptions exist within the subsection number 2 in this case.
Mr. Mayor. Now, we were to eliminate that amusement tax, Mr. Martinez. Do we have the funds in our current budget to cover that?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Acosta, the impact, as we stated, is minimal when it comes to revenue. In this past fiscal year, it's 0.11%. It's not a significant number. As we attain growth, which is our intention in the next few years, that number may exponentially grow. But at this point, it's not a significant impact on our budget. And as we get ready for fiscal year 26 in the next couple of months, we will have to take that in consideration, but it hasn't been an impactful number. It's not even 0.5% at this point.
And with that savings, I believe you mentioned it will be passed on to the consumer, correct?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Acosta, so that is exclusively up to the owners. Whether they pass that on to their members on their existing fee schedule or how they charge that tax, they're ultimately responsible to make that payment to the state. And then we get our portion. So we really don't control how they charge that tax, whether it's something that they're not paying out of their pocket anymore or they're reducing their fees. And that's something we don't have any control over.
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Well, I was just gonna. We grow that, then we're going to get higher, more population. We're gonna sell more products. And if it's not there, we're gonna get it back in restaurants, we're gonna get it back in hotels, we're gonna get it back in shop. We need that. So, it's just me, maybe for that, right? You know, this is such a non-significant loss that we could actually make more out of it if we increase the population for having local businesses. Again, I want to provide them more because we do have some, in the audience who this pertains to. So is there anyone that would like to speak on this matter? We can have you sign the speaker request after. Valenzuela? No, just talk, speak first and then.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Dominique Valenzuela. I'm the General Manager at the Cochise County Fair. Speaking on the tax revenue and just seeing the numbers, to me, it makes no sense that Douglas has a higher tax rate than Sierra Vista or any of the surrounding tourist towns. Maybe not eliminating it and lowering it would help, but I don't know how familiar you guys are with the fair. We just turned 100 years, and it's no secret that Sierra Vista, Wilcox, everybody wants to take the county fair. I fight at the Capitol, I fight with legislation to keep it here. This is a significant impact, and our city tax is a significant impact on getting any type of vendors to come. Sometimes it's really hard because I've been told multiple times that we have the highest sales tax in the state of Arizona. It's hard. The amusement tax, we don't significantly see it at the Fair Association, but our vendors do, and they do pass it on to the consumer. If it's not a total loss, I mean, I would suggest the 3 years and just see where it goes from there. And like the mayor and council said, maybe see where it goes, and hopefully we can get more stuff going on here. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody, audience. Arturo Torres, owner, Ballard Entertainment and Events. A little bit about Ballard. We started in 2018. We haven't reached our goal due to several factors that we need to get to fully accommodating the entertainment industry. In the past 6 years, I have a list of entertainment concerts, different types of shows that want to visit Douglas. But it makes it difficult when the support of our local city is not there. And as Mrs. Valenzuela explained, she knows exactly where I'm at. An increase in tax right now would affect us as a big impact. One of the biggest things we have is we're a border town. Everybody shops in Agua Prieta. I have nothing against Agua Prieta. For example, I'll give you people an example. A catering for a wedding quinceañera anniversary. Our Cochise County enforces that food be catered from a certified kitchen. A must, a must. 90% of my customers that come in, is it okay if I bring the food from Agua Prieta? Absolutely not. I'm in violation of not complying with Cochise County. So it makes it very, very differently to make ends meet with a customer, because not everybody wants to spend, or they don't have the budget to spend that money. What we need, and Mrs. Valenzuela, I'll use Mrs. Valenzuela, we need this administration support to fully support what we're trying to do. I built Ballard Entertainment on the grounds of a dream. And as a retirement plan for myself and my family of promoting, I've had very good success with the people. I've had good customers that are satisfied. And, but we need stronger support from this administration here. I could name a list of famous recording artists that want to come visit this town. Do they come? They're waiting for a phone call from me. Do I hesitate? Absolutely, because I need support from the community. Is it there? Mr. Martinez just made some comparisons. He compares Douglas, Sierra Vista, Tombstone. We're not there. Tombstone is on the global map for tourism. You go to Bisbee on the weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that place is bouncing off the wall. You go to Tombstone, people from all over the world visit that, and I'm not exaggerating. So what do? We cannot afford an increase in taxes, but we do need a great support of our entities giving us small businesses support using our facilities. A lot of people come to me and tell me, your venue is too expensive. Maybe it is. I send them, go to Mrs. Valenzuela. Mr. Manquero just closed his doors. He said, it's not feasible for me to be in business anymore. So I'm just giving you straight out with all transparency what we're faced against and what can happen in Douglas. Right now, for example, I'll give you a heads up since I get the opportunity to speak. I have a very, if the circus that was there 2 years ago was big, I have a circus there that's 3 times bigger, that's owned by a very prestigious family in Brazil. They want to come visit Douglas. I'll be meeting with them January 16th because they want to come visit Douglas. It's huge, it's enormous. I might need the facility from Mrs. Valenzuela to accommodate it. But please look at shopping locally. Look at shopping locally. Enforce time. I'll save it for another segment because I got a lot all the time. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Said that they need our support. What type of support would the city be able to provide you?
Your support is promoting a person that dedicates 80-40 hours a week attracting tourism to this town. Somebody that goes and scouts, somebody that scouts tourism to us. You know, if you travel down G Avenue on a Saturday night, if you see 5 cars, that's too many. You see them at our cilantros, but you don't see a lot of people standing outside the gas taking pictures anymore, or we need tourism, we need attraction to this community. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank President Torres. When I originally went over this PowerPoint, it was, I think my mind was more towards going towards the gyms. But after hearing you guys talk, I think I have a different mind. I thought maybe with a little bit of a reduction in that tax, but I think now I agree with this, supposed to hear that the eliminating it or keeping or stopping it for 3 years would be a good idea. Yeah, and I originally be a good for our city.
Mayor. So I also agree. I think this is a starting ground. I don't think that it's gonna resolve all the concerns that we have with bringing revenue to our community and to vendors in our community as well. So yes, this is a start to providing an incentive for local businesses and local amusement type activities. But I agree with Mr. Torres. We really need to look deeper into promoting our city. And yes, tourism is a part of it, but how do we bring more entertainment to our community? I think that's something that we really also need to look into. Affordable, yes.
Especially with youngsters, you're around them all the time. it
Yes.
gives them something to do.
And it's true, a lot of the entertainment goes outside of our community, either to neighboring cities or in the other country.
Yes. Mayor, maybe we should also look at our sales tax, reducing that to just maybe in the upcoming fiscal, this way. Maybe in a couple of months, see what we spend. Because if it means promoting our city, and these tourism, everything else, but we can't get them here to the next sales tax or tax.
Yeah, just, I mean, it's when, Mr. Torres, bring up great points. I mean, I personally recommend that we eliminate the tax for 3 years. We'll put it aside, the amusement tax. And, revisit it 3 years, see where we're at. I mean, if we're successful in anything, we need to bring something into the community. And I just, talked to people during the winter break. I was at Slaughter's Ranch. It's a great history there. And I know our schools do take them out there on field trips. And yes, it's not in the community, but to get there, you have to pass the community. So again, tourism is a must here. And if this tax here will help us bring in more tourism, then cool.
No, I agree with everybody up here. I also think that, acting, and making active when it's needed, lots of revenue is. If we start dipping in the red, because we're 17,000 down, not because we're not happy enough, because we're starving. We all have to look at that. But I agree with everybody here, that this can help the community, have more people involved, like the community engagement or events. We should all be for it, so, the consensus on the direction, what is the 3 years, and then the sunset clause, and we can either go another 2 years after that, or we can make a decision.
Mayor, if I may, thank you. I appreciate all the comments. That's what we take as direction. I want to clarify a few points also that what I'm hearing is the reduction of the full section 1 and 2, which is the equivalent of the 17,000, because we did identify that there are 2 sections is the option H. And what I'm hearing is that we're going to both 1 and 2, and I'm in agreement with that. What I want to make sure everyone understands that that's the 3.8% that the city taxes. Those entities still or vendors that come in to join fairs still pay the state and still pay the county. So the county's 1% and then the state's 5-ish are still something that we don't delve into. So I just wanted to make that clarification. And then we'll bring that back as this is direction only. So we'll work in all of those comments and come in with a decision package for a future meeting.
Dennis, could this be done in an emergency? Just instead of waiting the extra month, we could give them tax relief on the 30th.
Wait, Mr. Mayor, I didn't hear the question.
If we bring it back to eliminate the tax for 3 years, can this be done in an emergency to give them faster tax relief?
Can we sunset it for 3 years, you're saying, asking?
Enact.
What?
The tax cut, Dennis, if we can bring back an ordinance to eliminate the tax by emergency, so we don't have to go through 2 readings plus 30 days.
Mr. Mayor, that's a great question. If that's the direction of council and we can do it, we'll make sure we can do it. I potentially, if you want to say it's an emergency clause, I would think we could do it on 1 reading under the charter.
Mr. Mayor, so I've consulted with the Arizona Leagues of Cities and Towns and our tax experts there, and there are some requirements as far as making these changes are concerned. There is a waiting period. There is also a recommendation for, again, it's a recommendation to start this at a calendar or at a fiscal year start. But again, that's your prerogative, but there are some waiting periods and legal requirements that we will be sharing at a future meeting that may prevent us from doing an emergency situation.
And I think, Alejandro, I think that's because of the way they collect the taxes and in their systems, they'd have to change their systems and get notices out to everybody.
We'll do our best to prepare the packet with all scenarios and recommendations. Absolutely, yes.
I don't know.
Thank you. I'll go quickly through upcoming events from our community calendar. January library activities include discovering exciting programs to include Brain Break, all ages, which are alternating Mondays from 2 to 5, which includes coloring and puzzles. Crafternoon for teens and adults, also alternating Mondays from 2 to 5, winter arts and crafts. Children and teen movies, all ages, every Tuesday at 3:30. They focus on providing award-winning kid-friendly films. STEAM Club, ages 6 to 17, every Wednesday at 3, exploring science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Chess Club, meeting 2nd and 4th Wednesdays at 3. This is hosted by Cochise Chess, not to be confused with Cochise College, which I've done in the past. Preschool Story Hour, every Thursday at 11 a.m., Winter Stories and Crafts. Winter Paint Night for adults on Friday, January 17th at 5 p.m., winter watercolor. And for this one, registration is required. And then book club, Monday, January 28th, to discuss Pachinko and Minjin Lee. As far as our recreation upcoming events, we have Thunder Mountain Wrestling on January 25th, VIP meet and greet at 4 p.m. and VIP show at 4:30 at the Douglas High School. And price is $20 for VIP, but general admission is free. We have a big polar plunge that we're partnering with Special Olympics. It's a challenge and its date is February 1st at 9 a.m. is the check-in, and there will be a costume contest, again, superhero theme. Not sure about the plunging part, if you plunge into the pool wearing the costume or if that's after. That's at the Veterans Memorial Swimming Pool. We have Special Olympic athletes and families and friends and fans that will all be freezing for a reason with this event, and it's to assist them. This is a unique opportunity for individuals, organizations, and businesses to support the Douglas area athletes of Special Olympics. So we encourage everyone to come out and participate. We do have a website that we can make available, and we'll make sure it's on our community calendar as well. In other announcements, for our library, in partnership with SEGO, the library's annual gift for seniors program distributed 350 gifts to our local nursing homes, Meals on Wheels, churches, government housing, and referrals. Also, FIRE, their holiday food drives included 154 children that received toys, 68 received jackets, and 80 received gift cards to our local elderly and those in need. Our warming shelter remains operational throughout the week, and I understand it's currently snowing. So I hope we get the word out for those vulnerable out without shelter, that they can come to our fire department conference room and seek aid. Lastly, GSA construction update. I thought I'd include this monthly to make sure the community is aware that we continue working with GSA and the contractors for the new commercial port of entry project. And we met recently, and we have put together an idea to create a resource page for the community's interest on upcoming job opportunities and programs to prepare for these job opportunities. This resource page will be placed on our website and distributed. Right now, we'll be working with both the contractor and GSA. We do know from GSA that their next step is to hold public meetings to provide more formal information and instruction regarding their processes to pursue local labor force and attempts to provide jobs to the community in the region. But we're hopeful that we can be proactive by creating this resource page to provide kind of an FAQ environment. And the more questions we get, the more we can answer through this committee we're forming to provide that general information out to the community in advance. Those are my updates. Thank you.
GSA contract and the jobs that have been agreed to so much for that. And I just wanted to give an update to the community. I recently joined the Arizona Association for Economic Development. Again, you know, talking about the same thing that we know we need here in the community, and I'm hoping that through this association and just being part of some of the committees as well, such as the Government Affairs Committee, will hopefully, you know, provide me with information to then give to our city manager and try to keep moving that needle forward in economic development. And then also just wanted to make sure that, you know, everybody's aware that Energize, the planning for that is coming up soon. We don't have any dates for a meeting yet, but as soon as we do, I'll invite everybody to attend, whoever wants to attend. It's a community event, and the more people that can participate and partner with us, you know, the better it's going to be. Every year it's growing, so I look forward to that shortly.
Mayor, I just have a suggestion. It was a huge part of our leadership. I wanted to see if we'd be able to have them sit up here with the spirit.
Right at home, there, I heard, the feedback on the block parties. But talking, the retreat is about Ward 1, so maybe we could throw in at Ward 1. She brought up a good idea, but I'll let her sort of, give you all that information. And, if that's all for updates, and well, future agenda items, from there.
Second.
Well, good evening, Dennis. Thank you.
Bye, Dennis.
All right, have a nice
Good night,
evening.
everybody.
Take
Stay
care.
warm.